locomotive chimneys, or smokestacks, or just stacks, or funnels. I don't really care what you call them. They all mean the same thing. They mean that thing. That one, right there. Are an integral part of steam locomotive, especially operation. While diesels also have vents for their exhaust, there's a lot of science and actually complexity that goes into creating a proper steam locomotive funnel, much more than you'd think. Despite the basic name being chimney, they're actually much more thought out than simply being chimneys. On most steam locomotive designs, the chimneys were located at the leading end, at the front, just above what's known as the smoke box, which is where the smoke goes after it goes through the steam boiler and then heats the engine. But you gotta get rid of the smoke. The smoke can't stay in there because it's bad. You don't want it choking up the system, so you gotta vent it. And in the early days, most of these chimneys were made tall, and that was meant to help them sustain the temperature-induced density difference draft that was the result of the exhaust going through a fire tube boiler. But as a result of a design decision by Richard Trevithick, all the way back in 1804, a significant amount of steam locomotives would wind up diverting steam cylinder exhaust upward through the chimney, which would create a vacuum in the smoke box. That had the effect of accelerating airflow through it while the locomotive was in motion. The higher chimneys also had the benefit of keeping the smoke out of the crew's faces because you didn't want to be breathing it. You wanted to be able to see and not suffocate. It's just one of those things. But taller funnels also had the problem of, not being able to fit in certain areas. There were loading gauge restrictions, vertical ones, and if you made it too tall, you could hit obstacles like tunnels, for example. To deal with this problem, the need for shorter chimneys, engineers realized that if they accelerated the velocity of the steam exhaust, that would not only accelerate airflow through the firebox, but then have the effect of lifting the smoke higher out the top of the chimney. So a chimney didn't have to be a solid piece of equipment that was really tall and literally physically guiding the smoke out. You could just blast it out. And by the 1830s, they started incorporating what is known as a blast pipe. The steam exhaust would be directed through this blast pipe, which was effectively just a contracted nozzle, so they could achieve a certain amount of velocity through the chimney and get the smoke up and away. Get out of here. Go up into the sky where you can't bother anybody immediately. If there's problems down the road, we can argue about that on the internet. It'll be great. But for now, you're not bothering us. Go away. But blast pipes also had a negative effect on performance. Robert Stephenson would actually calculate that some locomotive designs would lose nearly half their power through back pressure caused by blast pipes. So more development was needed. As boilers got better, that led to improvements in heat transfer efficiencies. Blast pipe diameters could then be increased to reduce the back pressure and made much shorter. Further developments necessitated other changes, and eventually, particularly in the UK, funnels got really short, tiny little things, because they didn't need to be tall anymore. Even over here in America, they weren't very tall towards the end of steam. And that was because, things just got more efficient. They didn't need a tall funnel. Other developments included the Kyle Chap system, patented by a French steam engineer, André Chapelon. The Kyle Chap system was fitted to a lot of different locomotives worldwide, as it was a very, very, very good exhaust system. And even after steam locomotives stopped being a thing, there were other developments still. Argentinian engineer Livio Dante Porta continued working on developing exhaust systems for steam engines, making many, many improvements that have been tested and some not tested. Porta was a pretty cool guy, and we should probably talk about him someday. But the title of this video necessitated a question, because while earlier in the UK, their funnels it started getting pretty short, even in the 1800s. Some were taller, some weren't. For us, in the 1800s, we were like, hello! Look at our funny hats. Why did our engines have funny hats? What is this? Why were we doing that? The big, tall, wide chimney, which are usually called diamond stacks or sometimes balloon stacks, are a commonly associated design feature of the classic American Western steam engine. Like Leviathan, for example, have this, but why does she? Leviathan. Leviathan, madam! Madam! Why do you have a funny hat? Well, it wasn't just for aesthetics, not at all. That was a design feature because of a fuel difference, believe it or not. See, in the early days of steam engine utilization, obviously in the USA, we wanted to use trains because they were good. The UK was demonstrating that. They were much more efficient, much faster than horses. So that's great. All right, wonderful. But there was a bit of problem. See, where we wanted to use them especially was in our push out to the west. And that's great and all, but, well, in Britain, they had already been using coal, or more specifically coke, a coal-based fuel with a very high carbon content that's actually made by heating coal or petroleum in the absence of air. Regardless, we're just going to call it coal. They were using coal because the UK had a lot of coal, and that made sense. But when we were pushing out to the west, coal became kind of an issue. Well, we had coal, but most of that was being mined in the east. We didn't have any coal mines out in the west yet, nor any supply chains to get coal out there. I mean, yes, you could use trains to do that, but the trains needed the coal to move, and they were also pulling coal for them to... Do you see the problem here? But you know what the West did have a lot of that was much easier to get at immediately than coal? Wood. And all these forests. Just chilling. Hanging out. Surrender the wood, cowards! As a result, a significant amount of our early locomotives here were wood burners, not coal burners. That was pretty unusual worldwide. Most places stuck with coal because coal is, in optimal conditions, the better fuel. It is much more energy dense and burns hotter, thus just making it better for steam engines. But you can use wood. That is totally a viable option. And for us, at the time, the positives outweighed the negatives. It was just easier to get the wood, and we wanted to keep pushing out in the American West, and when all you have to do to get more wood is just chop a few trees down rather than, setting up a mine to get coal, you can see why this decision was made. However, wood did come with another negative that had to be dealt with. We couldn't just ignore it. See, while coal does throw out the occasional cinder or two, if you've ever sat near a campfire, you probably know that wood does that way more often. Wood loves throwing out red-hot cinders and sparks all over the place. And that's bad when you're pushing out into the American West, known for some exceedingly dry areas that may or may not result in some, major forest fires. It was something that we were like, oh, right, we're gonna burn the whole country down. Okay, so we had to get pretty creative with what are known as spark arresters. A spark arrestor is on its own a pretty vague term, as it refers to any device that prevents the emission of flammable debris from combustion sources. That could be a wide variety of different kinds of engines, and yes, steam engines are one of them. In the case of wood-burning engines, spark arresters were critically important, and the earlier ones weren't very scientific at all. They were pretty much just iron wire screens that were installed inside the smokestacks. The problem with this was that reduced the rate at which smoke and steam could escape from the boiler because it partially blocked it, as it was supposed to do, and as the screens caught more cinders, well, that further reduced the ability for smoke and steam to escape. To deal with this, we simply widened the chimneys, creating that diamond shape that is a common feature on our early locomotives. That's why, because we wanted to make space for the use of the spark arresters. Even with the widening, we did have to clean those screens fairly regularly, but that wasn't super difficult, and again, when we're trying to prevent an entire forest from burning down, an extra maintenance bit was actually kind of worth it. I mean, I think that was fair. Widening the diameter of the tops of the chimneys also had the benefit of reducing smoke velocity through the screen so that embers would fall away from it into collection hoppers, not just get stuck in it. Back then, we also had trouble casting complex spark arresters, so instead we had a habit of making sheet metal chimneys for our wood-burning locomotives, something the British weren't doing pretty much at all because, well, they weren't using wood burners for one, and for two, they were using not sheet metal, more sturdy stuff. But for us, again, it was a necessary alteration because of the way we were operating. And over time, it began to disappear. Again, not necessarily for aesthetic reasons, but because, well, the technology changed and our fuel source changed. As we began to conquer the American West, coal became much more available. And again, objectively speaking, if it's available in sufficient quantities, coal is the better fuel. Thus, railroads in America started using it more. And therefore, we didn't need the big chimneys because we weren't throwing out as many sparks. We still did have spark arresters, but they didn't require the excessive amount of space because there was just less sparks to catch. They didn't even have collection hoppers. You still needed to clean them on occasion, but again, they were just not really needed. And thus came the end of the diamond stacks. But they did succeed in being a classic element of steam locomotive design, particularly American ones. I mean, if you see a 440 in some piece of fiction, or anywhere, they almost always have a diamond stack, because most of them did, for a long time, several decades in the 1800s. The only reason we stopped using them is that we just didn't need them anymore, because we started using coal. I've actually had a few British people ask me, yeah, why did your country do that? Well, now you know. It's because we were using wood. That's it. That's the reason. We were using wood, and we didn't want to burn everything down. We did not actually want to set everything on fire. We do think about that sort of thing sometimes, you know? Till next time, this is Darkness, an individual of fun. Farewell.